out. Cut all of that out, man.
This
You know what I'm
dude, man,
saying?
you don't listen to nothing.
No. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not for the betterment of the audience, bro. Like, hey, and speaking of the audience, welcome to Beyond the Algorithm. I'm your host, Victor Vincent, and got my man to sitting to my right, probably your left, depending on how you got your shit configured. My man, Cabby Wallace, and we're gonna dig into this topic about this woman up in Detroit. Was it Pontiac, Michigan?
I want to say that. Yep.
I think it was Pontiac, Michigan. But anyway, whose children froze to death in a car in Pontiac, Michigan. You know, and before we even get started, man, let me go ahead and talk to the crowd real quick. You know what I'm saying, and bring to the forefront what you think about this situation before we even bring in the information, bro. Because this ain't no easy topic to talk about.
Nah, it's definitely not an easy topic to talk about, man. When I first saw the story and I first saw this woman get on here and express herself about what happened to her, it's heart wrenching. It's heart. It broke my heart. It did. It really did. Being, I got kids myself. I couldn't ever imagine going to sleep and waking up, you know what I'm saying, to see my kid not breathing. You feel what I'm saying? Especially if they in the same space as me, like right next to me in my car, something like that. And it ain't got to be that, you know what I'm saying? They could be in a room and, I wake up in the morning, go in their room and, hey, baby, get up. Time to go to school. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't breathing. Right. You know what I mean? It's almost choking me up just saying that to you. You feel what I'm saying? Same thing with my baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, baby, get up. Gotta get you dressed for daycare, and she ain't breathing. You know what I mean? So, as a father, as a parent, you know what I'm saying, you really do sympathize with what this girl went through. You know what I'm saying? And it also pisses you off to know that she ain't have help to where she could depend on getting her kids in a nice warm environment. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what's happened in this girl's personal life, anything like that, but it's unfortunate that she didn't have anybody that she can call on. You know what I'm saying? Family. She didn't have a father to her children, anybody that she could call on and depend on to get her kids a safe space for the night. Or for as long as she needed to get her stuff together to where these kids didn't have to sleep in a cold van all night in Michigan at that. So I'm in Virginia, so you got to think like Virginia, when it get cold outside, probably 27 degrees, 30 degrees, 40 degrees, most times that's cold, but I don't see a child dying in a van being that cold. You know what I'm saying? But Detroit, when you got negative degrees and stuff like, you got bodies of water that freezes over in Detroit. So when you got that's a totally different, cold. You feel what I'm saying? So just this girl having to have her kids in a van at a casino, and it's that cold outside in Michigan, and losing her kids like that, bro, that's heavy, man. That's heavy, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this video real quick so we can have some, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let the people see what we talking about.
Let the people see what we're talking about. Let's get to it.
You know me, know I worship the ground and kids walk though.
The 29-year-old mother of the two kids that likely froze to death Monday in the parking structure of the Hollywood casino.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help. But that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live, she asked the father of the two kids that died.
He had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he's living. He lived with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
She also asked the city of Detroit for help.
I reached out in November. I reached out before that. I've been on the CAM list for a long time. And every time I called and asked if they have a bed, they said they don't have family beds.
So the 7 of them had been sleeping in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food. They didn't want for nothing. Every day they went to school. I had one mistake.
And the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of
I
gas?
have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke,
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
and when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the family.
That's one of the reasons we did set the GoFundMe up, so she will be able to have housing for herself and the children, her other remaining children.
We'll put a link to the GoFundMe account on our website, fox2detroit.com.
That's all I wanted to do was sleep somewhere safe.
In Detroit, Charlie Langton, Fox 2 News.
Bruh. I mean, and now that people watch that, man, and like I said, bro, it breaks my heart just knowing that she had to go through that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when she says things like, you know, I called my baby daddy and he said that I can't bring him over there because he's staying with another chick, and I guess they were staying with her parents, and her parents ain't want no kids over there, nothing like that. That's the part where I'm like, as a man, like, you got to figure it out at that point. You feel what I'm saying? You got to figure it out at that point. If the mother of your children is telling you, hey, we ain't got no place to stay. You know what I'm saying? We in a van. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure something out. You feel what I'm saying? You got to figure it out. Whatever you got to figure it out. If you got to go out here and bust your ass doing some type of gig work, Amazon Flex, you know, Walmart Spark, DoorDash, and whatever you got to do, and you got to come up with $150 a day to put your kids in a hotel room every night until she get on her feet. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Or you just got to pick up a second and third job until you can get a crib yourself or whatever, for you and your significant other, so your kids can stay there with you. You know, whatever you got to do. You know, as a man, you definitely got to look out for your children. And that's the unfortunate part. The person that she should have been able to depend on, she couldn't depend on. You know, and that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy that she couldn't depend on somebody, you know. And I asked myself when I first watched this, I said, yo, she didn't have no mom, she ain't have no dad, she ain't have no aunties, no uncles, nothing.
What did you so when you asked that question, right?
Yeah, right.
How did you feel when you found out her mama was in the same van with her?
That was crazy.
A 49-year-old grandmama.
Yeah. I didn't know that at first. You know, I didn't know that at first. I thought that was a sister because she was kind of young.
This woman had 5 kids by the time she was 27 years old.
Right. Yeah.
She had 3 of them with the dude. I'm going to play the video in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to have a reasonable conversation about this that deal with the facts.
Okay.
Because social media is for sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to social media and get any kind of attention you want.
Right.
But is it fair to say that long before these kids froze to death, there was a lot of failure that took place? If you and your mama are living in a van with 5 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fair to say there was some significant issues, you know, in the
there
whole
was some
situation.
significant issues,
right,
that precipitated this event before them freezing in a van in February.
Right. Been in there since November. That's a long time being in a van, bro.
Let's think critically about this. We think critically about everything else. We talking about the government, Doge, taxpayer dollars, plane crashes, all these other things that we're talking about. Let's talk about the micro socioeconomic politics of just human behavior and knowing what it costs to live every day when you're a responsible man taking care of your family, and what you see on this video, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I ain't here to convict nobody. I'm just looking at the information presented, and I'm 46 years old, and I'm a married man, and I know what I wouldn't have my wife dealing with.
Right.
I also know that there are women that you should marry.
Okay.
I also know a lot about human behavior.
Okay.
And I think that a combination of all of that should bring us to a reasonable conversation to say, how long have these children been failed?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Look, my man already in the comments on some, hey, she lying, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So
let me read this because I want to play the video with old boy in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
So let me pull this up on the screen so everybody can see what I see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's read along. I said, this is a sad and sensitive subject. It is a precautionary tale. There's no way to have this conversation without sounding insensitive. The situation is why rule number 5, sexual discipline, is important. Show this video to your daughters and teach them the value of their own womb. Who you have kids with matters. It is literally and figuratively a matter of life and death. When you hear men say to single mothers, you picked it, it sounds brutal, but it is true. The man in the comments, which I'll click the video of in a second, has been a bum. And you could tell by his willingness to even come on camera and give his side of the situation.
Go ahead and show that video. Show that video.
I'm about to go ahead and show the video right now. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just get to it, bro. Because this don't make no sense.
And Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness.
I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state. But I tried. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. You know, people just didn't like too many kids at their house.
I spoke with the children's mother Tuesday evening. She told me she's been living in her vehicle for 3 months, along with her 4 kids, her mother, and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to...
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
Say, I saw it. That's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him.
She just asked, can I get them for a couple of days? But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do.
He says the last time he held his children was a month or 2 ago, and that they typically FaceTime, moments he will miss. And there's a, police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
It doesn't even matter to me. Can't get them back, so it's whatever.
Darren.
So here's the thing, like, okay, so you see the ages of the kids. You see ages 2 and 9. So the thing is, like, 9-year-old. Okay, I'm not really expecting much from the 2-year-old. 2-year-olds, they speak, but they don't speak that well. You know what I'm saying? But a 9-year-old definitely will be able to speak. They know what the
situation is.
You know what the situation is, right? So when you're talking to your child, about their living arrangements or what they've done for the day or where they're sleeping at, whatever, you're just having a general conversation with your child's going to tell you if they're uncomfortable or not, so when this man says, well, I haven't seen my child in 2 months, red flag, you know what I'm saying? Red flag. Last time I held him 2 months ago.
What does that tell you about the situation though?
It tells me that this man is not a great father. He's not a good father. You know what I'm saying? He's not any of those things, because, like I said, you're not even talking to your kids. You're not even having any conversations. And in a lot of instances, what happens is you know, when parents venture apart, mother and father, they venture apart. I don't know what happened particularly in this situation right here, but when they go apart, sometimes it goes so ugly to the point where, you know, parents don't even want to talk to each other. They don't even want to interact with each other, and the kids get caught up in that bullshit. And so once the kids get caught up in the bullshit, things like this can happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a man and as a father, like I said, he should have been having those conversations with his children, you know, because you can't tell me a 9-year-old didn't say, "Hey, daddy, we in a van every night. I'm getting tired of sleeping in the van every night.
Yeah,
It get
3 months
cold
is
out
a
here."
long time to not have a conversation and living in a van not coming up.
You see what I'm
Because
saying?
yeah, because like if you made it through these, if you went from 2024 to
Mm-hmm.
2025, that's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
Like
exactly.
I am not overlooking that part at all. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
no,
Like, I think, yeah, he failed.
definitely.
You know what I'm saying, from whatever his obligation is as a dad. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? If she got 3 of your kids, because she had 5 kids by age 27,
right,
3 of them kids belong to you. I
right,
don't care what her situation is; those still your kids.
right. 3 of them kids belong to you. Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
let's just go ahead and package that part up. Right now, the other parts of the conversation that I want to have tonight is like I said in the comments. I said, "Hey, man, show this video to your daughters,
Right. Yeah.
not the dudes. Show it to your daughters.
Mhm.
That dude that you feel is the one that you like and the one that you attracted to. If you make kids with him, this is the type of man you're gonna get. Okay, you are putting your potential children that you want to have
At risk.
in a life and death situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, remember that first video, and the grandmama was 49 years old.
Mhm.
This is what it looks like when you raise children without when they're raised without no father. No, he can't. Look, I don't like this right here. Let me tell you what we're not gonna do right here.
Mhm.
Well, before I get to that, let me go deal with Ivy Hegler.
Okay.
Said a woman with 4 kids qualify for all types of government assistance. Probably does.
Right. Most likely does. And
'Cause-
see, can I speak on that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Because
ahead and deal with
what
that. Go
happens
ahead.
with that is when I see a woman with 4 kids, she should be able to qualify for all types of government assistance. What pisses me off about this is that knowing that our country literally spent, I think it was $100 and some odd billion on migrants, you know, to be housed. I think 60 billion in New York alone.
59 billion. They spent 59 million on a particular hotel.
No, billion.
Was it
It's a
billion?
B. It's a B, bro. It's $1 billion. That's why New York is in the negative right now. So the thing is like you got to think, man.
I'm
Like
judging.
this woman can't get any help, and we're giving, you know, migrants,
That's New
you
York
know,
though.
help, but we can't give our
Let's
own
just deal with
citizens
Michigan.
help.
Let's just deal with Michigan right
Okay,
now.
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she should have been able to qualify for some type of assistance. Not exactly sure why she couldn't get that assistance, but yeah, man, it's sick, bro. That's a sick situation. The fact that there was no help for that many kids, no help.
Okay.
You know, and she goes to the local places that's supposed to help. They say, well, we don't have enough beds. You
Okay.
ain't got no beds. But I guarantee if you do the research, you see how many migrants they took in. They took in that many migrants.
You know,
I guarantee
like,
they did.
I love how you dropped the inflammatory comment in
Hmm.
this situation, but it was necessary. But I believe your man DeAndre Harley says I was going to say what the fuck kind of family they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I be talking about when people say this right here. This only comes from single parent homes. There's very few instances. I would say this: the majority of this type of situation comes from single parent homes. Most two-parent homes with a present mother and father do not raise their daughters to become mothers that raise children in these types of situations. You know what I'm saying? And this is where I hang on to rule number 5 so much more than what needs to be than what is actually discussed. Men must exercise sexual discipline to be seen as credible leaders and maximize their opportunities, right? And when I say that, that does not admonish or absolve women from having sexual discipline also.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that men need to take this ownership of their sexual responsibility before they create children with the wrong person. Women need to be able to recognize the wrong man that they can make their kids with too. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't see men bringing the conversation full force, then they don't know that it's actually being had. They generally walk around thinking that most men are reckless with their seed. And most men don't have children because over 54% of men do not have children. So the only men that have children function in the 46%. And what's crazy is that only 15 to 16% of men are single fathers. And the other percentage of it is rounded up around 30% that are married.
You see what Juan Villa just put up right there?
I'm finna go down to the comment. What do you got up here?
Yeah, he said, "Get those kids, fellas, if she's unfit." So that's my thing. Like, if you know that the mother of your children is unfit to raise your kids, all right, party time is over, fellas. You gotta lay everything that you're doing that's entertaining you down and take care of your kids. And that's me. I'm going on the side of coming after the men on this right here because he knew what his kids were going through. He knew. The 9-year-old said something. And that was just 2 and 9. I'm pretty sure he had probably an older one, probably like 12 or 13, and I'm pretty sure they explained it.
And then how many times was it documented too? Like
right.
Imagine how many text messages, "Hey, daddy, this ain't right."
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
So
I see another comment by the Cure that said, undocumented immigrants pay into taxes.
I'm coming to her in a second.
Okay,
like,
so let me throw to that. Let me throw to that real quick because I see that and I understand that you do have undocumented immigrants that do pay taxes and can't draw Social Security. I get that, but for the person the Cure, black people have paid way more taxes than any undocumented immigrant. Let's stop it. We got to stop that argument. That argument makes no sense. She's had generations of people pay into taxes. These undocumented immigrants have not had generations. And she also has a government that owes her too, still haven't paid reparations. So there you go with that one too. So there's money owed, there's money on the table that has not been paid. So we're not going to go with that argument. Though I understand, like I said, there are undocumented immigrants that have paid into the system and they're not going to be able to collect Social Security. I get that. But take care of your citizens who were born here first and definitely make sure that they are well taken care of. We can't worry about taking on the world's problems. It's not our problem. South America is not our problem. Mexico is not our problem. Those places are not our problems. They need to take care of their own situations while we need to take care of our own situations at home.
I want to deal with her comments, man. Like, come on. Like, let's deal. Do you think that the dad needs to be in jail and it was criminal negligence?
Yeah. Honestly, yes, because I know for a fact one of his children told him about the situation. I know for a fact, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no 9-year-old not going to tell you that they sleeping in the van. No 9-year-old's not going to tell you that they're not sleeping in the van.
Because I've definitely been seeing commentary saying that the woman needs to be locked up too.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if they have, evidence that she did reach out to these different programs and everything to where they're supposed to take care of families. If she has evidence that she tried, can't lock her up. You know what I'm saying? If she had evidence that she tried, that means she at least tried to get her kids a warm place to lay their heads. She at least tried that. The thing is that if where she was at said, "Hey, we just don't have the room for that," you know what I'm saying? Then that's something that you can't blame on her. You honestly can't blame on her. But daddy, yeah, bro, like. Yeah, man. I mean, you say as a father, well, she know my family, and all she had to do was reach out to my family. That's all you had to do was reach out to your family if you knew your kids was, in a van, and in Arctic temperatures. You know what I'm saying? That's all you had to do is reach out to your family. What you got to do is you got to stop being up under that woman that you with right now, and don't worry about her. Take care of your responsibilities. What you need to start doing.
Rule number 5, man. I keep going back to it. This is a sexual discipline conversation. This is how powerful this stuff is. You know what I'm saying? Like let me go back to a previous conversation that's ongoing in here.
And see, I got the cure right here again.
Yeah.
And so here's
look,
the thing.
Look, you talking about the undocumented people?
that's a totally different.
That's a totally different
topic.
Because
you know what I'm
saying? Being
saying?
undocumented and facing slavery in America, you already in the country illegally.
Yeah.
If you're undocumented, you illegal. So nothing you say after that matters.
Nothing that you say after that matters, right? So yeah.
And we're in the country legally.
Right.
And you just talked about how people have black people have never been compensated through reparations or any other argument that they got. That's a legitimate argument.
Yeah.
And you got undocumented people claiming a lack of benefits and whatever else, a lack of entitlement, and it's not the same. If we ain't gonna deal with the black people that's already been here and dealt with them on reparations, then tell the undocumented people get to the back of the line.
Get to the back of the line with everybody else.
Yep.
Which turn?
There's no way undocumented people need to be compensated before black Americans.
All right, I got you. But yeah, man, this is like I said, it's an unfortunate, chain of events, But like I said, I know that man's 9-year-old at least said something, to him saying, "Hey, Dad, we living in a van right now, man, and it's getting cold up in there, especially November. We in November in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've ever been in Michigan, November or December. It's cold as hell.
It's cold as
it's cold as motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
that's why I live in Texas. Like,
yeah.
It's
So
unnecessary to live someplace where it's cold.
Yeah. And like I said, the fact that she just didn't have any avenue to where she could reach out and get her kids a warm place to stay is crazy. It's crazy. And like I said, I don't have no sympathy for that dude, man. Like you let your children die because you didn't call your children every day to see how they were doing. You didn't call them and say, "Hey baby, how you doing? You doing okay? You eating enough? Okay, when you about to go to bed?" Oh, if you ask that question, Daddy, I can't go to sleep right now. It's cold as heck in this van. You know what I'm saying?
He was laid up with a big bag.
Yeah, that's crazy. I ain't getting on that.
I seen the pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just seen the pictures. I'm not trying to, bring no unnecessary attention to the woman that he was with, but because who knows what he said to her. But we talking about these kids, man. These kids in the death, and it's literally life and death. You know what I'm saying? Because who you choose to be with matters, bro. We've been living in this fantasy land as man and woman, and these social media gender wars talking about what the adequacy of man, the inadequacy of man or woman, from top to bottom. But these are the outcomes, because what happens is that the children gonna always get caught in the crossfire.
Absolutely, they always do.
And we're not gonna have a conversation until some kids die unnecessarily. And here we are. So, like, the goal of my platform is like to pin this into the conversation of the gender war. The gender war does not serve the children.
No,
it knocks them off before they even get a chance. And the truth is, it's like there's no amount of social criticism that we can give them that's going to absolve them from the negligence that end up in the, resulting in these children's death. So, like, before we get too deep into the path of politics and personal opinion and conjecture, understand that these kids are the one that took the L.
Right.
They really took the L on this. You know what I'm saying? Freezing in a parking deck is crazy.
That's insane.
That's insane.
In America.
In America.
Yeah. where we know we have vacancies somewhere for people to lay their heads.
And that's why, like, it's when the kids die, all scrutinism is on the table.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, one of the first things I thought to myself was like, why you didn't pull up at no fire station? Why you didn't go to a police station?
Yeah.
Why you didn't go to a hospital? Even
Yeah.
because if you got the kids, you got the kids. You've already been demonstrated to by your kid's father months in advance.
Mm-hmm. Let me jump in on that because
Go
this
ahead.
could
Yeah,
be
like-
this could be a possibility.
Yeah.
When we start talking about people driving to fire stations and police stations, things like that, this agency that gets called when you have to do that. CPS, you know, so CPS. So we don't know how many times CPS has showed up to this woman's home when she had a home, you know what I'm saying? And we don't know what threats have been made, you know what I'm saying? So there's a potential that you may lose your kids. Now, in this case right here, I'd much rather you lose your kids to adoption, you know, than a child lose their life out here in the cold like that. You know what I'm saying? But
come on, man.
If we're talking about a woman that that wants to keep her kids and make sure that all her kids stay in the same household, because as we know, you know, when it comes to CPS and things like that, kids get separated real easily. You know what I'm saying? So they'll separate your family real quick. And I'm not demonizing CPS in this particular issue with this particular issue. What I'm saying is that's a potential for that to happen. And so you have to think those things out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that might be a reason why she didn't want to take that approach. Would it have been a much wiser approach? Of course. It'd have been a much wiser approach. It would have definitely been a much wiser approach. But a lot of people just don't want to face that CPS problem. There have been instances where, you know, a child will get hurt, break an arm, break a leg, something like that, go into a hospital, CPS comes in and, you know, it looks a little fishy. Although, you know, parents didn't have anything to do with the child breaking their arms. It just, they did something that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the parents, they go through that scare of CPS coming in there doing that investigation, right?
Yeah.
And when they go through that scare, after they go through that scare, if their child hurts themselves again, they don't take them to the hospital. They will keep them at home and will not take them back to the hospital because they are in fear that they will lose their kids to CPS. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of get that. Like I said, although I'm feeling how cold that van is, that's a chance I'm gonna have to take, bro.
You done ran out of gas.
You done ran out of gas. You're living bad at this point. You don't need your kids at this point. They don't need you at this point.
If you
know
run out of gas and you've been homeless for 3 months,
they don't need you.
You should have gave up your kids a long time ago.
Gave up your kids a long.
That's my
time
point.
Ago.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now I will say this in dude's defense. Now it's the first time and only time I'm probably gonna defend him.
All right.
If he's telling the truth and he's saying that she never told me that they were homeless, she never said that. You know what I'm saying? And your kids never said that to you because it's a possibility that mama said to baby girl or baby boy that was 9 years old, "Hey, don't tell your daddy that we living in this van." That's a possibility.
Yeah.
We cannot shun that away. That's a possibility that this woman might have said that to her 9-year-old. "Hey, don't tell dad we in this van because if you tell him we in this van, he gonna come get you and you ain't gonna see your brothers and sisters no more." You know what I'm saying? So that's a possibility too. So if those were the cases and all that happened, then I can honestly say, okay, Pop's got a little bit of an excuse, but even still, you're not talking to your kid. I know you're not talking to your kids. Because if you vet your kids enough, if you talk to them long enough,
they gonna tell you the truth.
They gonna crack. They gonna crack.
They gonna fold.
They gonna tell you the truth.
Yep.
As a father, I know this to be true. They can keep their mouth shut for as long as they want to because they don't want to get in trouble. But the longer and longer you keep going, they gonna crack all the time. Fold.
So here we go right here. Elisa Lassiter, were they going to school? I wonder. McKinney Vento, federal dollars are trickled through school systems for homeless families. Back to dad. Did he question the kids about school leaving?
Yeah.
Come on, man. They go right back to what you were saying before.
See? Yeah. That's a good point. Are you asking your kids about school? You know what I'm saying? Like all these different things, bro. Like the father is not talking enough. He's not talking enough. And fellas, if you're watching and you don't have your kids 24/7. There's some unfortunate events where men just won't have their kids 24/7. The litigation process just went against you. You know what I'm saying? That's a thing. If that's the case, make sure that you are talking to your kids every day. And there's particular questions that you need to be asking. What did you eat today? You know what I'm saying? How'd you do in school today? What are you learning? What are you doing your homework on? Where are you laying your head at? You know what I'm saying? All those different things. You need to check out every box that's required for your child to live for the day, and make sure that those kids are getting every box. You got to do that. Juan Villa just said it. Put that up. Because this is what it is. Call your kids. Like, call your kids. You need to speak to these kids every day, not every other day, not every other day, not every weekend, not once a month, every day. There is nothing stopping you from
Their life
calling
don't
your
stay
kids.
the same. It don't stay convenient to you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I agree with the Cure on this right here. If you want to bring her,
Yeah, because he was crazy for getting on camera, bro. He was so crazy for getting on camera.
We won't agree on the migrant thing, or I'm not gonna say we're not gonna say anything. I won't agree with you on the migrant thing. I'll say that's for a different day. That's for a different day.
Right here.
But this is right.
Look, the Cure, we all collectively agree on this.
Absolutely.
Why would he even get on camera? Why? Look, like there's you didn't add any value to it. If anything, it made you look more negligent.
Right.
In my opinion, you look more negligent getting on camera and trying to break down and point. It's a finger pointing contest at this point. When it really should be about the kids.
And Eliza, I don't know if that's how you say Eliza or Lisa. Yeah. When you say where they're going to school, I wonder. I think she asked that question, and I may be wrong, but I think she asked that question because I think it said 80% of kids or parents getting CPS called on them comes from teachers reporting.
Oh,
right.
So that would imply that they go to school because that's where they're getting food and
right. And you know, a kid they see their teacher every day, so it's a good chance that the kid might say, "Hey, we're living in a car." You know what I'm saying? To give you an example, when COVID hit here in Roanoke, Virginia, the kids weren't required to keep their cameras on. Reason being is because a lot of kids here were homeless. And a lot of kids were going through class at a McDonald's parking lot or a Hardee's parking lot or a Taco Bell parking lot because they didn't have Wi-Fi anywhere else. Wow. Or they might have to be in a library. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, COVID, you couldn't go to a library. So you had to post up outside of these different restaurants and things.
So COVID exposed a lot of parents, exposed a lot of children with no parents.
692 kids in Roanoke, Virginia are homeless, sir. 692 kids. In a city of 100 and less than 100,000 people, 692 kids homeless.
So the Cure is leaving us now because she said she got to go. I'm assuming she have to go after the big back comment. This is misogynistic and anti-immigrant. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here to him. Fuck you. Fuck everybody that came with you.
Oh man.
Fuck how you feel. No, fuck that. You see what I'm saying? Like, get your Democrat ass up out of here.
Come on, man. Anyway.
Yeah, no. Then we need to deal with people the way that they respond. You know what I'm saying? Because you ride with us until it don't feel good.
Hey, look, the Cure. You have good talking points at some points right here. Like I said, the whole migrant issue is a whole different subject, a whole different topic. Look at this. Come on now. This why we can't build as a black. This is why we can't build as black people, man.
No, this is what the country is right now. You talking about some body shaming? No, if you fat, you fat. Own it. If you short, you short.
All right, let's reel this back in. Let's reel this back.
If you're a bad parent, that's what this is about. This ain't.
That's exactly what it's about.
You can't shame that. If you're a bad parent, you're a deadbeat, right?
Right. This is one of those
deadbeats.
Right. This is one of those instances where I see, especially in today's political climate, you know, there's a lot of black people talking about Trump, and we're fixated on this guy. We really have all of our attention on Trump, and I understand that a lot of people are worried. I understand that people have their concerns, and as well as you should. But in this case right here, what we're talking about, what's on this camera right now is we're talking about what can we help as a people by ourselves, outside of anything else, outside of any other influence.
Federal government got nothing to do with this.
Federal government has nothing to do with this. The thing is that if we as a people are locked in and we are taking care of community and we are taking care of village, this never happens. You didn't hear of black women dying in a cold car back in the 1960s with their kids. You didn't hear that because the village was intact, the community was intact. If Big Mama saw a woman out there in her car, in her big ass Cadillac with her kids sleeping, Big Mama like, baby, what you doing out here with these kids in this car?
Bring them kids over here.
Bring them kids over here. And she gonna stay over there until she get her on her feet, because back then we had a village, back then we had community. So the cure, if you want to talk about, what's happening to black people, well, we have to talk about not just what's happening to black people politically, what's happening to black people that we're the cause of. Like what happened to us? That's the part that's unfortunate, and that's the part that I like talking about. What happened to us? What happened to our community? What happened to our village? What happened to what we used to stand for? It seems like we just got hit with some type of biological attack when it came to the crack epidemic back in the 80s, and after that we folded. Man. We never got back on track. So if we go talk about what we do, black people, what's happening to us politically, let's ask ourselves what happened to black people morally.
Come on, somebody, because like where we are with this conversation, if you're not prepared to talk about fucking the wrong people in our community, then don't talk about the politics, because half of our problem is us making kids with the wrong people. And that's what this conversation is about. This dude should never been allowed to reproduce. And she had 5 kids by the age of 27. And y'all talking about victim blaming and shifting the blame and blaming Trump. What about who the fuck you open your legs to? How about that? How about the unmarried parents that raise children that grow up to be unmarried and then don't value marriage and raising children? How about that? You can't have it both ways. So quit bringing Trump into the politics. Quit bringing immigrants into the politics of this situation. This is socioeconomic norms. This is not having no fathers in the house. This is the fruit of that.
Yeah.
That's what all of this boils down to.
Are you reading what Elisa said? Elisa, if I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm sorry, babe. But the big back is a part of the problem.
Is part of the problem too.
Women who deal with these types of men help feed the cycle. You are correct. She own it.
Yeah, she own it.
She own it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hold on, she get the shots though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Come on,
absolutely.
Now.
Because why should a man even be able to date at that point?
Able to procreate with that? This is okay. So let's just take the conversation, right? Are we saying that women are not responsible enough to choose who to procreate with?
Yeah.
What are we saying when we say these things? Because like I appreciate the comments from the Cure, because I got a video that I'm gonna put up here in a second. You know what I'm saying? To capture that, because we got to start. Okay, let's just take full ownership of it, right? So at what point are we going to say like men just need to be in total control of the situation? In you know what I'm saying?
Men do need to be in total control of the situation.
I'm in agreement with it.
Right.
Because if we get blamed for everything, right?
Right. Because I'm being honest with you. You know, when it comes to men, and we've talked about this before, Vic. Because at the end of the day, we are in control of if this woman gets pregnant or not. Only we can feel when this semen is coming up, right? Only we can feel that. They can't feel that. There's nothing that they can release that can get us pregnant. However, there's something that we can release that can get them pregnant.
Okay.
So as men, if you're not prepared to be a father, you have no business having sex.
Okay.
Or get a vasectomy. A vasectomy is reversible. Don't let that scare you. I see your face. Don't let that scare you.
No. I'm looking for something else.
A
That shouldn't bother
vasectomy
me
is
none.
right. A vasectomy is reversible. So if you know you don't want kids at a certain time in your life, just like you ask that woman to have that abortion, or we leave it up to her to have that abortion because she doesn't want to have this baby at this time in her life. She's got things that she's pursuing, so I have to have this abortion. Well, men don't have to have an abortion. All you got to do is go into a doctor's office, let somebody snip you twice, and you good in another month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I'm
like look, like brother Hector Guzman said, stop shooting the club up.
Bruh, stop shooting the club up.
Stop shooting the club up. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? So men have 100% of this responsibility because a woman don't know what you about to do on her. She ain't got no clue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She ain't got. Now she can take precautions and say, okay, I'm going to protect myself off of birth control pills, or make sure that he's wearing a condom, things like that. I understand that there are those precautions. I understand that, but men ultimately own the responsibility of whether we want a child or whether we don't want a child. You know, so I that's 100% on us, to be honest with you. Yeah, woman does have a little bit of responsibility to it. I get that. So people say don't open your legs, but nature is nature, right? You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, you know, we're gonna do stupid shit. But that man, if he don't want a baby, he need to take it upon himself to make sure he either strapped up, he didn't have a vasectomy, he didn't done everything that he could possibly do to prevent that from happening. Don't force that woman to make a horrible decision in whether she got to have an abortion or not. Elisa, he said she had to be with them at least 8-9 years span between.
Come
2 and 9
on.
years old. Yeah.
Bring his ass to trial. Hey, look, I ain't saying nothing. You just deal with this shit right here. Because
yeah.
because like at some point, where's the ownership?
Right.
She
And
ain't
Herbert,
innocent.
yeah, Herbert Lewis say the thing that you always say, Vic. He said relationship math, 2 dumb people make 3.
Hey, look, hey, low-level learners. We
Create
produce
more
more
low-level
low-level
learners.
learners and make more
Yeah,
low-level learners. You can't make something better than you.
Yeah. Oh
How?
man. Yeah, Herbert, I'd love for you to join us, man. We love for people to join us up here, but I see that you don't have the time. So hey, maybe next
You
time,
can't-
man.
You can't make a child better than what you can attract, bro.
Yeah. But Elisa, you're coming up with some brilliant points right here. And like you said, you know this man got all these kids out here. What are you doing dating this man? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I've heard this come out of my own wife's mouth. You know what I'm saying? When she say, I don't understand why these chicks be dating these dudes with all these kids and stuff, knowing he ain't taking care of the ones he got. Why would you think he gonna take care of yours?
Ooh. Oh, come on, man. Like, stop absolving people that don't deserve it.
Yeah. Well.
When,
So what Elisa is saying is that's the blame that I guess you would give women, is when you know this dude ain't shit, but you still fucking with him anyway. Yeah, that's a problem, ladies. Come on now.
Oh,
we gotta stop.
on.
We gotta stop with that. You know what I'm saying? It's time to use your brain. You know what I'm saying? So
Yo,
yeah, I get that.
Like I'm about to pull a video up here in a second, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, like you can't expect somebody, you can't lay down with somebody smarter than you.
You said you can't lay down with somebody
You can't
smarter
lay
than
down with somebody smarter than you. Cause you still dumb. You not, even if she's smart enough, even if she's smarter than you,
mm-hmm.
it's definitely you definitely not gonna recognize when you at fault.
Okay.
So in that regard, why do we expect the least learned people in our society to make the best decisions?
They're not gonna make the best decisions. You already know that.
That's my point.
And I think that's why the world or the country is being overrun by simpletons, idiots.
It is.
because to be honest because the ones who are smart, we think about, and I'm not trying to give any type of advertisement to this place, but we think about Planned Parenthood. That's a good title for a building, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Planned Parenthood. Plan your parenthood out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Make sure that you have all your ducks in a row before you have a baby.
We kind of missed that boat, though. Let me play this real quick.
Okay.
Y'all, I have never been so happy that man got on national TV and made that statement as a father, saying that the only reason he did not help get his kids because his baby mama did not specify that it was an emergency or not. But in his terms, he said sob story. What also made me so happy is to see that he actively has a woman, which solidified everything I have ever said about women who date men that don't take care of their kids. Women know what the fuck be going on. Women know what be going on. They choose to lay down with men like that because it feeds their insecurities. I said women love when men abandon their children to take care of them, and if they have kids, taking care of them and their kids, because it puts them on a pedestal and it makes them feel better about themselves. They just solidified that. When women say, "Oh, she just be bitter and she don't let them get the kids," she know what the fuck going on. That's her teaming up with him. Women that date men like that are enablers. They feed him doing that. They encourage that. I know this. I'm not, and I already gave a story time. One of my old friends who I'm no longer friends with, I'm going to tell this story because we're not friends no more and she can't beat me up. She acted like that, where she made it seem like the other baby mama was jealous of her, okay, and bitter, in that they kept their children from her man, okay? And her man had hella kids. And mind you, this is somebody I was close with, so I got to see firsthand. And we did rebuttal a lot because I'm a single mom. And some of the comments she made were very ugly. So one of the comments she used to make is, well, men take care of the children based off how they feel about the woman. If he ain't doing for them kids, then shit. I don't give a fuck about what he ain't doing for those, as long as mine is taken care of.
I heard that.
She would dog those women out. And she would brag about how that man is taking care of her and her kids. And she was showboated until they broke up. When they broke up, and I mean this shit, now I say they broke up like after, they've been together for over like 10 years. So for 14 years, the other baby mamas got to watch this man purposely abandon his kids and watch another woman encourage it. And as her friend, I know she encouraged it until they broke up. And when they broke up, my right on everything I love, she like, Nikki, he ain't been calling his kids. He ain't been seeing them. This motherfucker out of town. He only take care of the kids if you with him. The only way he's doing something for your kids, if you're doing this, if you're doing that. And immediately, as a single mother and as her friend, I had to remind her. I thought you said those women were bitter. I thought you said that they didn't want their kids around your children. But I knew she didn't want her she didn't even want him around his kids. She didn't even want her kids around their kids. She thought her and her kids were better. But the point is, women know what they're doing and they know that man does not see their kids. They know that that man ain't doing shit for their kids, and they like that. And I've witnessed that shit firsthand, and I'm seeing it right now on live TV. I don't respect bitches like that. I don't respect bitches like that.
Napalm, chest, face gone. I like it. Herbert said napalm, napalm, chest, face gone. Like, yeah, that's yeah.
Hey, look. When it's situation dealing with women and kids,
yeah,
I find content where women are admonishing women.
Yeah.
Because just like The Cure was automatically on some default body shaming bullshit, whatever the fuck she was on, deal with the woman that say that this woman is on some bullshit too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because both sides exist.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not is a personal preference.
Right.
Because I believe there was many opportunities long before they froze in that parking deck to make better decisions on behalf of the children.
Absolutely. Both parties.
She had a grandmama
Mm-hmm.
in the van. The grandmama 49 years old. And we grew up in communities where your grandmama wasn't in her 40s. And if she was, like, you was too young to recognize the age of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, our grandmamas was taking care of us.
Absolutely.
And they was available. They didn't need our parents for basic subsistence in life. And for those of you that don't know the definition of subsistence, we're talking about just basic accommodation, a roof over your head, food in your belly, and utilities. You know what I'm saying? A woman that could do for herself in the worst case scenario. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If she was living in a van with her daughter and her 5 kids that she had before the age of 27, what type of scenario do you think that it was already in?
Pretty bad.
And this is why, like, some of y'all see my Facebook posts. It's like, hey, fellas, do not get with no woman that come from a long line of women with no men in the house. This scenario, this conversation is based on that. This is what's going to happen. This is what could happen.
This is what could happen. Right.
But look at it as though it does happen.
Right.
Because you can't say it doesn't. Because now we got a real story.
I just don't think we're in a place right now where you can really say a single mother is honestly protected anymore.
But because by virtue
of
being a single mother, you're unprotected. Being a single mother is settling.
Yeah. Well, I say that to, like I said, to say that village and community isn't there anymore. So
because who makes up the village? Do we understand where the village comes from?
Yeah, we understand that. Yeah.
Where do you think the village comes from, Cavi? Because I want to break this down.
Village comes from to me. Hold on. Oh, yeah. But like village to me, if I explain my village and I explain what I saw as a kid as a village, you know, that's going to come from immediate mother, father. Those are your 2 major primary parts of your village. Then after that, you're going to have aunties, uncles, cousins, grandparents, all your family, all your immediate family members. And then outside of that, you're going to have personal friends, friends, moms. It's just it grows over time. The more friends that you make, the bigger your village is going to get, pretty much.
Okay.
So everybody looking out for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if your mom didn't have a cup of sugar to make a pie with, you know, you could go next door to would be my neighbor Kathy's house, knock on the door. Hey, Kathy, mama ain't got a cup of sugar. Can we get a cup of sugar? Oh, yeah, baby. Hold on. Give me a second. She go in there, get you a cup of sugar, take it on over to your mama. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, if mama had to go to work or something like that, she know you couldn't watch yourself. You was a little too younger. She could call over to Miss Smith, which is next door, say, hey, Miss Smith, can y'all watch Cav for about 2 or 3 hours till his daddy get home? You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, we got him. Go ahead and bring him on. That is immediate, you know, village and community. Those are things that I experienced when I was raised. You know what I'm saying? I could honestly say my mother and father could go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't see them until I come back home, which back in those days we did stuff like that. We stayed out all day. But during me leaving at about 10 o'clock and coming back home at about 5 or 6 in the summertime, because the sun come down a little earlier, between those times, I done had breakfast, lunch, and dinner outside of my home. That's a village.
Okay.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner at
without your parents,
somebody else's house. That's a village.
That's a very good short synopsis, right?
Right.
So, like, I'm gonna take my fingers and use an explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you're talking about is the modernization of the village. I'd say it's probably about right here, based on your explanation. Okay,
that was peak village.
peak village. Right. That's why I'm using my middle finger.
Right.
The origin village starting at my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the origin village is? If you had to explain it.
Do I know what the origin of it? No, break it down. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
A village, when people say it takes a village,
mm-hmm.
is a much more primitive conversation. The village only existed because when the men went off to war and got killed in combat,
Mhm.
They was left back with a bunch of widows and the
And
children
women.
that they made.
That's true.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's the only thing it exists for.
Mhm.
And you're going to get more warriors out of this right here because they have to go avenge their fathers.
Right.
All right.
So you're
Somehow,
talking about a stable of very strong women.
I'm talking about a community a community has to protect the village.
Yeah, absolutely.
The village don't exist without community.
No.
The village is not the community. The village is the daycare, okay? The village is a support system for widowed women, single mothers, the concubines. That's why you see in a lot of the rainbow community, alphabet community, that when they take in like they homeless or they discarded kids from the street and they join these houses, these families, that they're embraced because they're different, they're outcasts, they're the black sheep of their particular family, no matter how it's set up. You know what I'm saying? We got to this point because this is where we wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is peak black community. Pre-segregation. This because we had no choice. Okay? So when we talk about the village being non-existent anymore, I say, and I love that you brought this up. What kind of community do we have if black women don't like each other?
Chaos.
What kind of village do we have if black women don't like each other?
Chaos.
What kind of children do get raised when black women don't like each other?
What we seeing now, chaotic children.
What kind of children raised by black women that don't like each other go to school with each other?
A lot of them.
like how do they behave? You see our fight videos, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not saying that this is an indictment. This is a result.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start talking about this is why I always bring up that women have to take ownership of their womb. Because you're going to make some kids that's got to go to school with women who got kids that you don't even like. And y'all live in the same community, never got along. What do you think that kids going to do?
It'll be a war zone.
They're going to be a war zone.
Yeah.
Now, let's just look at Chicago, since everybody likes to bring it up. What do you think is going on there?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Same thing. So this is a big deal. Your kids either freeze to death or shoot each other at some point. That's why all of this stuff is so dangerous in context. And people keep using these mental health, these government conversations dealing with federal politics. And all we talking about is you closing your legs. You can't close your legs, so we got to blame Trump. We got to blame Ukraine. We got to blame Israel. We got to blame federal income tax. We got to blame Congress. This is crazy. Because if we didn't have none of that stuff, we'd still have to govern ourselves individually better than what we're doing.
Yep. It's better to do that than to depend on your government anyway.
Yeah, we can't. We ain't got no political leverage. You worried about the president being a felon, but you done made a baby with one. Or two or three in some cases. This is crazy. I don't care how it sound or how it feel. You did that if it feel a certain type of way. Because the truth is, no matter how you feel, it ain't worse than them kids that froze to death in that damn parking deck.
No.
It ain't worse than that dude, like it's a deadbeat mama and a deadbeat dad. I don't care what she get on camera and say. It's still terrible because there was months of opportunity to make a different decision. She already in the van with her mom. and 2 other kids from a different relationship. And you call a man a deadbeat all you want to.
We ain't hear from him from
Yeah,
the other
we
2 babies, daddies. You know what I'm saying? We didn't hear from them.
what we are like we don't even know what that situation is.
Mm-mm.
But we talking about the one that made the majority of her kids that she made the majority of her kids with.
Right.
That just so happens to get on camera.
Right.
Because let's just say I don't know if she got 2 more men in her life or 1 more man in her life. But I'm not getting on camera to come behind that dude.
Nah.
Because you look dumb.
Yeah.
So the best thing he could have done to save face is not say anything.
I wouldn't say nothing.
I wouldn't say nothing.
No, because he looks stupid just saying anything. So
yeah.
Yep, man. So I gotta wrap it up. I gotta get ready to get up out of here.
Yeah. Like before we go though, you know what I'm saying? Because Elisa been on it. Low-level thinkers and learners. They have no clue about their body. When they ovulate and keep getting pregnant, it makes 0 fucking sense. You are come on now. You on point tonight. You've been killing it all night, Elisa, man. I appreciate you. Because you know what we're doing, bro, and I'm gonna let you get out of here because these are the things that like are close to me and you as well, because we talk about abortion, we talk about Planned Parenthood and all these other different things, right?
Yeah.
These situations like the one that's in the title of this particular live come back to Planned Parenthood on a different scale. Margaret Sanger said they need to stop them from breeding recklessly because she had already observed certain behaviors.
Yeah.
And it sounds pointy and wrong to discuss. But based on the fact that the competence of certain men and women are only good enough to make the children and raise them long enough to let them freeze to death in a parking deck at a casino, we got to have a different conversation, man. I don't care how it sounds. I don't care what it makes people feel. But Elisa ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because if you knew better, you do better. And you set your kids up for better circumstances. And it's time for us to have more deliberate and intentional conversations that don't feel good, bro. Because when we don't, we let things go into the wind. They let the tablets and the phones raise them, the internet, and they let the silence of their parents raise them too. Because just like that guy wasn't calling to see what's going on at school with his kids, what they ate, where they slept at. And she said, I called him, and he's saying he got a completely different story. It's automatically identifying, it's putting the communication, the integrity of communication in conflict. And the only people that lose from that is the kids.
That's it.
Every time.
That's it. Yeah.
So, with that being said, man, Cappy, you want to leave us with something before you get out of here?
Yeah, like I said, man, and I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. You know, when it comes to the fellas, if you have kids out here and you're not with the mother of your children, no judgment there. You know, things happen. But just make sure that you're keeping up with your kids. Make sure that you are calling them, having a fairly decent conversation with them for, at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. Don't time yourself. Just have a fairly decent conversation with your children, and make sure that they're doing okay. Because in this day and age, and where we're at in society right now, especially in America, things are gonna start getting a little crazy out here, y'all. And it's time to really hunker down and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, taking care of business, at this point, taking care of family, taking care of village, taking care of community. At some point in the near future, I see us not having the luxury of not doing so. Yeah. And that's just what I got to say, man. We just going to have to bring it together. That we have no choice at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, I greatly appreciate you and, being able to jump on this conversation and add some context to it from a reasonable perspective, you know what I'm saying, as both men, black men, and being married black men.
Mm-hmm.
And as a father, you know what I'm saying, like you can't function after you hear a story like that or care about kids if this isn't a conversation starter for you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
with that being said, this has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. I'm your host, Victor Vinciant. You know what I'm saying? And I got my boy Cabby Wallace as a guest today. And you know, y'all send whatever hopes, prayers, and positive vibes towards those kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the wake of their passing. And you know, let's just get through the winter so we don't see this again, man. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So with that being said, I'm out.
Peace.